Good evening, councillors. Welcome to this evening's Highways and General Purposes meeting. It's the 13th of May at 6 o'clock. DCC. Straight on to the item agenda. Number 1, apologies. To receive any apologies for absence? No. Okay, item 2 is declaration of interest arising from this agenda. Members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interest notwithstanding this item. Members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Declarations of interest from anybody? No. Item 3 is minutes of the previous meeting. To receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the Highways and General Purposes meeting held on the 1st of April 2026. Is everybody happy with the accuracy? Happy for me to confirm?
Yeah.
Quick show of hands, thank you. Okay, item 4 is the Highways and General Purposes Committee Project Report. To receive and review the project report from the committee clerk. Liz, any updates? Councillors happy?
Yeah, I think we're working through it.
Good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Item 5 is public participation. The meeting will recess for not more than 15 minutes to allow any members of the public to address the meeting in respect of items on the agenda. We have no members of the public this evening, so we will move on to item... No, we won't move on. Sorry, Liz, but the correspondence received?
Yes.
Okay, so we can just get the committee clerk just to read out correspondence received.
So we've had an email from Mark Forbes, which he asked to have it read out in the public session. So, dear Parish Council, I may not be able to attend the Highways meeting at 6 o'clock on the 13th of May, but request that the following be submitted and read out during the public 15-minute session relating to the speed watch item later on the agenda. The Parish Council has undertaken an action to set up a speed watch activity with local residents. I would appreciate more information on the plan for the speed watch initiative, including the locations of concern, at what time of day, and most importantly, the justification, specific objectives based on specific issues arising from what specific data. The use of random locations and times with unclear objectives should not be acceptable to a governing body. I am aware from the Parish Council meeting minutes that the speed watch has been promoted for a significant period of time and had 0 volunteers from the local community. I understand this has been put out to a number of local groups as an alternative, and while they showed interest, no volunteers were forthcoming. Can the Council deduce that from this, as I have, that the Speedwatch approach is not broadly supported by the community you are elected to represent? If the objective is to capture up to 55 miles an hour and worst offenders, then 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. would be the target. Data from pre-build out on Forest Road in January 2022. The next question to answer is, what outcome is desired? A. Detect and punish, provide no upfront warning and hide the detection point. B. Deter and train, advertise the detection point and make it very visible. I'm not saying we don't need to monitor speeding. I'm only asking that it serves as a clear purpose based on facts and is aligned with the Denmead parishioners' priorities. So to recap my request, can the Parish Council please supply to me, under the Freedom of Information Act if needed, the detailed plan for this Speedwatch initiative, including the locations of concern, at what time of day, and most importantly, the justification, specific objectives based on specific issues arising from what specific data. Best regards, Mark Forbes.
Thank you, Liz. We can respond accordingly following tonight's meeting and perhaps give minutes guidance. Okay. So there's no more. That's it. Okay. In which case, we'll move on from the public participation to item 6, which is the Community Speedwatch There has still been no response from the flyer uploaded to social media and the posters placed around the village. The local community groups who were approached have not responded either. So this is to discuss and determine action. So we just heard from a member of the public then, just a moment ago, who's interested in the council moving forward with this. Considering we've had no members of the public put themselves forward, we're at a stalemate really, which we can't really do it without members of the public. So how does council feel? Do we go out once more? Do we put it on hold temporarily? What are people's views? Councillor Harrison and Councillor Ranger.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just, excuse me, I wasn't aware of this at the time, but what's the history behind this? The speed watch?
So it came to, it was Councillor Brown, wasn't it, at the time? I can't remember the exact year, but we started a speed watch, in which case residents, along with a couple of members of council, I think the minimum was 2, would stand along Hambledon Road, for example, and laser people as they come along. If they're found to be in breach of the speed, we would then hand that data over to the authorities, who would hopefully follow up. That began to die of death. People just wouldn't come forward, and in the end the council couldn't hold it themselves. So we were looking at disbanding it, but we thought we'd give it one more try. Giving it one more try, we find ourselves where we are today, where people are still not interested. There's a lot of talk online, but unfortunately, though, no one's come forward to put their names alongside ours to conduct a speed watch.
Was there any data behind that? How many people were speeding? Or?
Oh, I don't know. Without going into that, we'd have no, not at this point, no. Councillor Ranger.
I think that to Councillor Harrison's comment about data, I think if I recall the previous discussion middle of last year, I think there were 2 incidents that were reported to the police. Whether they were followed up or not, we don't know. That's the first thing. Second, I was approached at the annual parish assembly by 2 people that wanted to volunteer for the speed watch, and I asked them to write to the clerk, and that was 2-3 weeks ago, maybe even longer than that. Forgive me. I've lost track, but and they haven't as of yesterday. So I would propose that we knock it on the head and we disband it, unfortunately, and revisit it as and when volunteers come back. That would be my suggestion. Not a proposal, sorry, my suggestion, based on lack of interest from the community.
Okay.
I think they paused before.
Okay, Councillor Betts, then Councillor Vickers.
I think I'm inclined to agree that it's definitely not a popular initiative for people to apply for. I think one of the reasons for that is that we're asking for a bit of an open commitment for people. It doesn't really say specific X times or Y location, and I think I actually wrote down in my notes that I think we need to be more specific and highlight pain points, or do people want to look at specific locations, but given the energy required to put in, what is the outcome desired, I don't think on balance, I'm not sure that it's a good use of time resources.
Yeah.
So.
As for the times and location, the location needs to be a straight road, so Hambledon Road or possibly Forest Road. As times, we couldn't really give out a diary or calendar until we knew who was going to come forward. Yeah. It would, so that's where we were with that. Councillor Vickers, you want to say something?
I think that speed watch was very in vogue a couple of years ago, and I think every parish and district did it. I don't necessarily think it fulfils the data that can go forward to the police, and they do anything sadly. I also think it's quite cumulative. It has a bit of a thing, again, and I think if we start to implement it, there's such narrative about the cutouts on Forest Road, there's such an outpouring of dislike for them. I think the village would see it as another punitive measure, and I don't necessarily think if it had an immense gain to the village, I would think that there was some credibility in doing it, but I don't actually think there is, and I think the appetite, certainly from me as a councillor, is I don't want to do it, and I don't want to commit to that time, and I'll be open and honest about that, but I think the village is of the same feeling as well. So I think it was very much an old council thing, and it was kept going longer than maybe it needed to be because of one person's desire to do it. But we're a different council, we're a different set of people. And the village has, I think, made a very clear point. When the village wants something, they're quite vocal. And I don't think there's an appetite for it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Vickers. Yeah, we do need to take in time, resources, the clerk's efforts. So I think we have two options. Either we shelve it perhaps to review later in the year, or we go out once more to advertise. I think that's our two options really. So, Councillor Ranger?
I propose we shelve it.
And I was second.
Can I ask what shelving means? Like,
Put
does that
it-
mean, I understand, but does this mean that we will revisit it? Is there a commitment, or is this a...
Yeah, so Councillor Ranger would then, I'm sure he's going to give a time of which we would bring it off the
Shelve
shelf.
it for the current year,
Okay.
so the current council year, and then revisit it next year.
Yeah.
So, proposal,
That was my
Councillor,
proposal,
that was your
yeah.
proposal. That's it. We shelve it for a year and
Yeah.
then bring it back. Do we have a seconder for that
Don't
proposal?
feel you could do it.
Councillor Harrison, thank you. All in favour of Councillor Ranger's proposal? Show of hands, that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item 7 on the agenda is the tennis club sponsorship. The tennis club are interested in sponsoring the rosebeds near the bowling club. They have asked if they can source their own signage. A template is in the supporting documents for approval by the parish council. The cost will be prorated for the remainder of the year if they decide to proceed. They have also requested, as they are a community group, if the sponsorship fee could be reduced to discuss and determine. So you've all had a chance to see there. Have you all had a quick look? Just to let councillors know, if you haven't already, the current sponsorship list, the cost is 198, and that includes the 20% VAT. So, as they commented, they would like to see a reduction for the remainder of the period, if council are of the mindset to agree. So, let's open the discussion. Councillor Betts.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree. And then I wondered what their VAT status was, and maybe we give them 20% off the VAT. If they're a charity, I don't know what exactly it's a company business. Blah blah.
They're not a
Okay.
charity.
They're just
They're
a,
a business, they can pay.
just a tennis, just a club. Sorry, Councillor Ranger.
Do we give any other discounts to any other community groups?
We haven't done so before, so this would
would
set a precedent if we do this.
That's the key thing. And
So-
that's why I'm very nervous about doing that.
Mhm.
I'm happy for them to sponsor the bed at a pro-rated rate,
Yep.
but not at a discounted rate. That would be my thoughts.
Okay. Also, just to be mindful that their signage would have to include our logo. So we'd have to go back to them and make them sure that they are aware that our logo has to be on there. So, any Councillor Vickers?
Sorry, I didn't read the first bit. Are they going to upkeep their bed?
So that's down to us.
No,
that's
we
that's
do
grounds.
We'd have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all they're wishing for is to sponsor the flower beds, have their sign up to include our logo,
Yeah.
at a reduced cost. Councillor Vickers?
I think it's a little bit of a cheeky request personally, and I think it sets a precedence. And though I'm grateful that they're going to sponsor it and you know they want to do it, but I don't think we should be setting precedence as Councillor Ranger says, because then we will have other community groups come in. It's not a inordinately high price to have their logo on there, and their decision, you know, what they plant there. So I think I would agree with Councillor Ranger that we shouldn't offer a discount.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not up to date, is it?
No.
Because
This is
obviously,
no one, but I believe the prices, we can double check on that, I'm pretty sure it's 190.
yeah, 106
Yeah.
plus that. Good Chair, at the moment we've got Go Wild, Denmead, we've got the
Denmead Village Association, yeah.
sponsoring, yeah, they haven't had a discount.
That's in the village centre, isn't it? Yeah.
Surely it's
Councillor
only
Betts, yeah.
community groups that really want to sponsor community flower beds.
No, we had Cassia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie Garrett Services sponsored
Yeah,
one.
Cassia
They
did.
did, they don't know.
Oh, I'll fix that.
Pearson's estate agents.
Did Cassia do it still?
No,
No.
no, he
Have
never
we got a
gives.
lot of, excuse me, have we got a lot of spare beds that are going
We have got spare
We have
beds.
got a vacant vacancy.
Perhaps we should do a little bit of a
We give them a discount, but the price is
Okay, so let's have a proposal, please, councillor.
I'm happy to make a proposal. I'm happy for the tennis club to sponsor at a prorated rate wherever we are every year. It needs to have a DPC logo, but I'm not happy to give any discount.
I second it.
Seconded by councillor Berry. Okay. May I have a show of hands all in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, number 8 on the agenda is Forest Road speeding measures. Emails have been sent to Capital Delivery at Hampshire County Council requesting data and a site visit. They have not responded. Committee clerk is attempting to gain alternative contact details. Yes.
Chair, just to update you, I did eventually get a response to say that the person whose email we'd got is no longer working for the department and that they would forward it on to the new person, but I still haven't received a response, so I will chase it.
Thank you. Okay, item 9, Hambledon Road repairs. We are still waiting for further information from Hampshire Highways and to arrange a site visit with them. They have responded to our correspondence stating the local highways engineer has confirmed that the route inspected can be seen in the map below. That's in the supporting documents. Whilst the surface delamination was noted, it does not meet the criteria for immediate intervention as per the safety-led criteria. Work is, however, planned through the village centre to the junction with Mill Road in late 2026 to repair the highway service. Once further information is received, it will be shared with the committee. To note.
Chair, the only other information that I have received is we queried the red on the...
we did.
And I've just had a response back to say that that shouldn't have been on there. It was something to do with Persimmon Homes.
Okay.
I'm
Councillor Harrison, yeah.
a little surprised that it doesn't go down as far as Suffolk Road down to the pub. Because every time I drive down there, it's a pool.
It's a pool.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Item
Sorry,
Councillor Ranger.
but on that basis, that's a good point that Councillor Harrison raises. I mean, I know that we were focusing on Hampshire regarding the Hambledon Road, but I'm sure all the roads are pretty bad. But Southwark Road specifically, I think that's the road you're referring to, Phil, Councillor Harrison. Southwark Road is particularly bad. In fact, I know of potholes that have been repaired in the last 3 weeks that have actually started to break up already, and they're right outside the pub.
That's
I
the one
fall
that...
over them when I come out on the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe an option is to go back and say that it's not getting any better, and we've got another road that is just as bad as Hambledon, which is Southwark.
We are still corresponding with them to try and get a site visit, so we can include Southwark Road as well.
I think Southwark Road is
as
terrible.
further additional information of some of the
Thank you.
localised roads.
Martin,
Councillor Vickers, yeah.
can I ask that it's further to our district and county councillors? Because I actually think the response from Hampshire is poor, and I think it is becoming a real problem to our village. So I think I know this is to note, but I would like it raised to our district, to a district level and to a county level now.
Perhaps as courtesy we can include the district councillors, but yeah, as it's not for discussion we can't action it, but I'm sure we could.
Can we put it on to another agenda then, Liz, please, because I think we do need to expedite it higher.
Okay. Councillor Berry?
Yeah, those potholes on Southwark Road, if you take photographs, then send them to Sue Braverman, the MP, she will take it for you.
Okay.
She's taking up stuff for us.
We can include her as well. Thank you. Okay. Item 10, pedestrian bridge, River End to Old River. As was unanimously resolved at the last committee meeting, the 2 quotes for the replacement bridge were sent to the Highways and General Purposes Committee. It was agreed to go with the Oakencroft Limited. That's to know. Update, Liz, please.
Update, Chair.
Thank you.
So on Friday I was at the burial ground and Lucy took a call from somebody who'd had an accident on the bridge and damaged their teeth. We'd already had somebody contact us to tell us that the wood was breaking up. So I got one of the groundsmen to go over there and tape it off, and we put a note on Facebook saying, please don't use the bridge. Of course, over the weekend, somebody tore the tape down, which we expected. But before I left on Friday, I contacted Tim Rogers from Oakencroft, and asked him if there was any chance that he could expedite the repairs for us, and he's responded he's going to start on Monday. So we've put something out on social media to tell people that they can't use it, obviously, while the repairs are being done. Tim Rogers has been so accommodating. I mean, you know, we're very grateful to him.
Nice job.
Thank you, Liz. Brilliant. Thank you.
Is a member of public okay with their teeth?
I didn't speak to them, but Lucy asked them to email the parish clerk with details. So obviously Joe's on holiday this week. Yeah.
Okay, item 11 is the Hampshire PFI streetlight maintenance contract. We have been advised of the changes to the street lighting maintenance and energy charges for 26-27. That's to note. Item 12 is the bus shelter grant scheme. We have received the grant agreement from Hampshire County Council. Work to replace the bus shelter panels will take place shortly, to note. And thank you, Liz, for carrying that out. That was a lot of work, I understand. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. What's going on here? Right. Item 13, letters to Heaven postbox. We are waiting for the plaque to be installed. Once this is in place, a notice will be put out on social media to note. I think we have an update, Liz.
Chair,
Yes.
we do have an update. When I got in this morning, I had an email from, what's his name? From Stone, right? Dennis, sorry. And he's hoping to fit the plaque next week, so that's good news.
Let's hope for some nice weather so we can go out there and take some snaps and get it out on social event finally. Councillor Ranger.
I know that's a note, but I noticed on Facebook and social that the South Downs have also got a letters of postbox. So, am I now confused as to which postbox I use if I want to post a letter to my departed? I have a choice of letterboxes, do I? One's in the South Downs Garden of Remembrance and one's in the burial ground, right? Are we in competition with South Downs for postbox deliveries and postbox emptying now?
Yeah, so they've recently put one up. I mean, if you post one in the South Downs, but the letters are the purpose of the box is to post the letters where your loved ones are either scattered or buried. So I'm not too sure how that's going to work with South Downs. Right. I don't know if it's worth touching base with them to see what they're doing with their letters once they've received them.
Chair, they did put in the Facebook thing, didn't they, that they would be composting them.
For their own garden or...
Yeah, I presume so. They've got a little memorial garden, haven't they? I assume
okay.
so, yes.
It was just curious when they did it at the same time they did it out, right?
Isn't it?
I obviously thought it was a good idea.
I think it was the
They're following our great example, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
Our great example.
Well,
brilliant.
Parish.
Brilliant. Right, item 14. Litter bin at Heathfield car park. A litter bin has been purchased and positioned at the Heathfield car park as requested by the Denmead Memorial Horton Note. Thanks to the ground staff, Liz, please. Item 15, sustainable travel support. The follow-up meeting due to be held on Wednesday the 22nd of April 2026 to discuss which projects to take forward and how to proceed was postponed due to the clash of meetings. We are looking to reschedule it. That's to note. Item 16 is the Safer Neighbourhood Panel. The meeting scheduled for Thursday the 23rd of April was postponed due to the lack of response to invitations and no police in attendance. A new date of Wednesday the 17th of June 26 has been arranged. We have been advised that the local police team are unable to attend, but Police Crime Commissioner John Jones has accepted our invitation to attend, and that is also to note.
7:30.
There we go.
Is that one of our Friday Wednesdays that we don't have a meeting then?
Yes, that will be here. That will be just like last time we hold it here. Okay, item 17, burial ground. 17.1 applications. To note the list of applications since the last committee meeting. Thank you. Item 17.2, request for a cremation plot for the non-resident. A request has been received from a non-resident regarding the interment of ashes of her late partner. The current parish council policy states non-resident applications for second full burial interments into existing plots and burials of cremated ashes into new existing plots will continue to be permitted on receipt of appropriate non-resident fees and proof of a strong Denmead connection to discuss and determine action. Have you all read the supporting documents of how the resident believes they have a strong connection to Denmead? Open to discussion. Councillor Betts.
I thought it was quite a strong connection demonstrated, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel when it comes to this, if they're willing to pay the non-resident, because that's not what we're discussing, they're paying the non-resident, correct? Yes. Then they've evidently gone to quite some effort to collect this evidence, and it made me feel a bit sad as someone who's recently bereaved that you have to do.
Normally, just to, I suppose, for the parish's point of view, a strong connection may be if they've supported community groups, volunteered as community groups, been a member of council, scouts, etc.
I think that if that is the threshold, then that should be outlined in the policy, because leaving it open to interpretation in this manner has led someone to maybe pursue something that is shouldn't have been pursued. And I think
that is a good point. Perhaps we need to,
and we don't know what, if we have a unspoken threshold. I wasn't aware of it. I read through it. So
it's not an official, it's just something perhaps we use as a guideline. What would you class as a strong connection? Would you class as someone stopping off at the shops or the pubs as a strong connection over someone who perhaps works at volunteers for council or the scouts or any, for example, what would you...
How many of these requests do we get? Do we deny them left, right and centre?
We do, and we would be setting a precedent here, so we'd have to be very careful. But it's a very good idea. Perhaps we need to review our policy and put in there, perhaps for future, what we would class as a strong connection. Sorry, Councillor Snellgrove.
They have attended the local church for the last couple of years, and also it is just for a cremation plot, not a burial plot. And I think if it was a burial plot, we would be having a very different discussion. But for a cremation plot, how many applications do we get for cremation plots?
How many applications do we get? Sorry, it varies. I mean, you can see on the committee applications that you've got how many we've had in the last.
Just going off that basis, for example, I don't mean to be really. I don't want to be the devil in the room. But if anyone wishes to come forward in the future, they can turn around and say, well, I attended church every Sunday. I used your shops every week. And then we'd be handing out reduction costs. And how far do we go with that? Are we going to, it's Councillor Vickers and then Councillor Ranger.
I too read this and felt an immense sympathy. And then I read it again and thought, I've used the garage, their family's registered at the GP and they're awake at the harvest time. I don't mean to be rude and I don't want to be disrespectful because they've obviously put some time and effort into it, but I do think again it's about precedence. It's our burial ground is very emotive subject in how much space we have, burial plots, cremation plots, everything, and I think we have to stand by our policy, but I agree with Councillor Betts. I think we shouldn't leave people up the garden path and it should be very much clearer in those procedures. But I do think that we are talking a small burial yard, we are talking of, that we haven't extended it, we haven't got another one in the pipeline. I just think that we have to close our borders a little bit with it. And I don't want to cause any offence or any upset, and I think they put a really good case forward. So it's a very difficult one for me.
But again, we have our own policy in place, and there's been a good point raised this evening that we might need to review that to put further information in. Councillor Ranger, sorry, you were next.
Yeah, I echo a little bit about Councillor Vickers' comment. I mean, the fact is that they're registered with the local surgery. It means that they've got a tie. I don't know exactly where they do live. It looks like from their application.
No, their family has not.
No, it's difficult to determine where they actually do live versus
Liz?
Clanfield or Waterlooville. I'm torn on this one, I must admit. I don't know whether we need a separate policy for casket versus cremation. I don't know. But in this case, for resident or non-resident, we know we've got space from a a cremation plot perspective, and we've got plenty of it for years to come based on the survey data that we've collected. They put forward a pretty decent case. However, we have guidelines that we've turned away customers before, and therefore why would we change that approach for this particular occasion, which is a bit of an awkward one. So I must admit I'm torn on this one. I'm torn.
Yeah, it is hard, but again, what if we do set a precedent? Anyone that's a member of the surgery could come along and say, "Done it for her, him. May I have it, please?" So, what do we get, Councillor Harrison?
If we're going to change the policy and update it, surely we wouldn't be setting a precedent if we let that one go through, because the policy...
Before changing the policy, we would be.
Yeah.
Policy needs to be changed first. I mean, it depends on council. What council believe is a strong connection, and what's that, what does that warrant in terms of reduction? Just passing through the village, I don't want to be the devil in the room, but...
I don't believe there's a strong connection. I think there are connections, but I could say that about people that I know in Waterlooville that still are registered with doctors that moved out. I wonder, it does say at the bottom, which I think is probably quite telling, that there's family in the village. So because these people are registered, at our GPs. So I wonder if it's just because, there's more of the family there that would be able to go and, be in the place that their loved one is. And I don't want to be harsh and feel that they couldn't go and sit and have that time and feel connected to that person in their village. So I'm like you, Councillor, and those things, my head is one thing and my heart saying something completely different.
I would agree with you.
So I'm happy to go with the majority.
If the policy was clear, if the policy was something we could hold up and say, you've not reached X threshold, you've not reached Y standard, I would be comfortable to make a hard decision, but I don't have a policy that makes me feel comfortable to make a hard decision.
No.
I don't. And I think that this is grief so personal to people. We have Demi Village Associate, they have tried. As much as maybe the connection is not the strongest, the passion and the desire is, and I want to follow the heart on this one, and then let the head review the policy next. So this maybe is the councillors to change the policy if we want to safeguard future studies. But I wouldn't want to be the one having that conversation, which means I can't ask someone else to do it for me.
So the question is, non-resident fee, yes or no? Bearing in mind also that we turned down a previous councillor not so long ago. Councillor. Liz.
I was just going to mention, Chair, that I have quoted the non-resident fee, which is what they would pay. It's just the question of whether we allow the interment at the burial ground.
For clarity, I thought the councillor that we denied was just denying them the discount because they wanted to use the resident fee, not the non-resident fee.
Yes.
As opposed to not letting them in at all.
Okay. Yeah, it was.
So I think that
Sorry, no,
follow the same
that's
precedent,
fine.
which is as long as they're happy to pay the non-resident fee, then yes.
I'm happy to make a proposal if we finish discussion.
Yeah, Councillor Ranger.
I would propose that they pay the non-resident fee. I mean, it had to happen. But we need to change the policy going forward.
Everyone's got that, yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay, Councillor Berry seconded. Can I have a show of hands? All in favour? Okay, all against? And those that abstain? Lovely. Right, thank you. 17.3 is the Memorial Garden. To review plans for the renovation of the Memorial Garden and wall for the memorial plaques to discuss and determine action. So last time we looked at a single wall and we were going to circulate, but since then we've looked at doing two walls. So perhaps if I turn on...
I found another email.
Thank you. So, okay, look, listen to the screen. Bang. So, You've all seen the supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just bring up a quick comparison of what we've. That's where we are at the moment, and as stated in the supporting documents, we could look at doing 2, and the benefits of doing 2 is cost, resources, the time, the materials would obviously match if we get them both done at the same time. It gives us enough space. We've got an update, didn't we, from ICCM, which is the Institute for Cemetery and Crematorium Management, because we were a little bit unsure on whether or not we could disturb the area where the ashes are spread. Liz, are you happy to give us an update?
Okay.
We have heard from them.
They've said as the ashes are scattered above ground, there is nothing in law that says you can't disturb them. Having said that, if families know that the area is where their loved one's ashes have been scattered, as it is the designated scattering area within the cemetery, you may want to tread lightly with it. They suggested that maybe we want to contact any people that we can, just to let them know that we're doing. But they're saying it's fine.
So that was the only holdback, was whether or not we could not disturb, but if we could renovate the land. But yes, we can. So if council is of the mindset to go for something similar to this design here, then we would definitely be able to do that. We of course would outsource that. The groundsmen, after speaking to Sam, are quite happy perhaps to do a border and some plants, but obviously the stone wall features would have to be outsourced to stonemason or something. Councillor Berry, then Councillor Ranger.
Don't forget, last time I talked about it, you've got to take where the tree is, the roots and the walls, so you've got to take that into consideration before you plant anything.
We went up there, we had a quick look and see how the trees do. The tree will need pruning, so these lower limbs, we would remove those lower limbs as well. But we have been up and we've had a look around the edge. So far there's no evidence yet. So it looks all good. Councillor Ranger is next, and Councillor Vickers.
I like it. It looks good. So well done, and thank you for that. I guess in terms of quotations, we, depending on the value or the expectation of the job, we may need to go to a tender process.
We would have to do that
because I don't know whether it would be under the threshold for the tender. So we just need to be conscious of that.
So there's a few things to look at here. Whether or not council is happy to go ahead with a design such as this. If so, do we outsource the whole renovation? Do we get the groundsman perhaps to do the border? Or do we just outsource for the stone walls? So there's a few bits to look at here. Sorry, Councillor Vickers, you're next up.
I think it's lovely, and I think it will be a lovely addition, and I thank you for it is the one I'm using, because I think it is a really lovely thing. My big thing is that I do not want it to be bodged, I do not want it to be cheap, I want it to be lovely and enduring and in sympathy with our thing. So I agree with you. I think we have to, I'm not saying we throw money at it, but we do it properly and we do it lovely and we do it to the best of our ability. So I would be 100% behind it being outsourced to a reputable, good company, and I don't think somebody doing a bit, somebody doing another bit.
All works.
I think it should be all works, and it should be a reputable company, and we should do our research to see if they've done similar stuff. And I think it should be something that we sit here and we are all proud of, and that we present to the village.
No, I've got Councillor Berry.
Who's going to drop the plans, do the design and stuff like that?
If council's happy, we could submit something similar to that, or if not, we could submit this. Now that we know that we can actually move the area and it can be renovated, then we could move it and redesign it exactly how it looks there, and it would fit quite well. So if council wishes to have something like that, we can send that out to tender and see who comes back for a complete work rather than
with these different sizes and everything, the size of the wall, the size of the border, everything.
We could take measure, couldn't we? We could measure it and do some Yeah, we could do that. We could add that. Councillor Harrison and then Councillor Ranger.
Again, I like the design, but I would like to see two quotes, one for just the brick walls and one with a whole lot to see
yeah.
the differences.
Yeah.
Are they slate on the two uprights, and they're engraved, are they, with regards to, is it the two dark pieces on the brick uprights, are they slate type material so that you can engrave on that, or is that, what's the intention of that?
So this is how we go.
Chair, have noticed that on the sexton side we've got plaques, so people pay to have a plaque put up, so they get a stonemason to do it. We have looked at whether we can get them off, and we can't. But one of the good things about that design, as opposed to one of those, see the plaques are on the side.
Yeah.
So one of the good things about that design is that it won't obscure that view of the plaques that are already up there, because we can't move them. So it would be a case of having somewhere where people can have them done. We don't necessarily need to put an additional bit in the middle. We could just have the walls.
I'm confused. So are you saying that you cannot remove those plaques?
We
from
can't
that
move
wall
them, no.
Into the new bits.
No,
So therefore, those plaques will remain there forever.
they won't. Yeah.
And they're not going to be replicated on the new one if that gets built.
No.
So all new plaques will go on the new one, and the old ones remain on the side of the shed.
But Councillor Clay has had an idea about maybe we should put some sort of signage up in between the wall and the sexton's hut, just to draw attention to the fact that obviously that is what something.
And this design here allows visual. You can still see this part here, and we can put a post up here or something. It's a shame we can't move them off, because then it would obviously go here nicely, but they are.
I don't understand why you can't move them off.
They can't. They would crack.
Oh.
Where
So can I make a suggestion, and that is that in your pricing and going to tender, are we allowed to replicate what is already on the wall and copy the plaques, maybe at our cost, right? I don't know what that would be, but at our cost, to copy the plaques so they can go on to the new areas, and then we can cover the wall to tidy that up, as an example. That would be a suggestion.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because I think if I had a family member on the side of the shed, I'd feel a bit sad
I would.
that they weren't on a nice wall, and I think I hear the difficulty, but
Councillor
there's
Berry.
a solution.
Finally, right, legally you're going to have to notify the people that you want to do it. And secondly, if they disagree, then we've got problems. So
they would just stay on the
of course,
shed.
it depends on the diocese as well.
Councillor Vickers.
Can I ask a question? So when say there's a rush of are those walls going to be enough? That's my worry, is that they're going to be quite quickly filled up with plaques.
That's why I added an extra wall, because I thought the same.
What do we do in that situation?
And another one down the road.
I was going to say, because we're going to be peppered with walls.
How long has that wall taken to fill up? All the sextons have?
I think in the time that I've been, in the last 18 months, I think there's probably only been about 3.
But it is a horrible wall. People might not choose.
Not everybody who has ashes scattered in the memorial garden
does a plaque.
Yeah.
Councillor Snowgrove.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how many plaques can you get on each wall, and what is the height of each wall?
So we would do sizing, and depending on the size of the wall, we determine how many plaques. But I should imagine it will probably be the same as what's currently on the sexton hut itself.
Can I ask what would be? Would we engrave something on the slate? What would we put on there?
No, that's where the plaques would go.
For the new plaques.
The slates could be big. That's just you could make it bigger. It's just an idea to start off with.
I thought the plaques were going on the brick. They're not going on the slate.
No, they go on the slate.
I don't think there's much room at all.
Make it bigger. It's just an impression at this stage, but if council's happy, we would then develop that with real measurements and then outsource.
I'm just thinking maybe we need to do a little bit of how many plaques you could get on there, like Michelle said, a bit of a time and motion study, because I just think that looks quite small.
Every 6 months.
Yeah.
Liz?
Chair, we don't necessarily need to put that extra bit. The plaques can go onto the wall without that. We don't need to put the slate there. But this is initial thoughts.
Yeah,
isn't it?
this is just
going
discuss.
to take
Yeah, you don't have
time
to.
to take forward.
I would like for somebody, Liz, for somebody to find a reputable person that does this and can guide us through this process, because I think it's a lovely design, but they might have done something similar and might know that more than
This will form part of the tender. If we're going out for tender, this will be
but
form
like
part of.
I don't know what you would Google to find somebody that would do that, but somebody that's
We have
done
our preferred
something.
suppliers, don't we? That we have our people that we can go to.
Yeah, I
as
just
well.
think somebody needs to, because I think it needs to be done properly.
Councillor Berry, Councillor Snellgrove.
Are you going to put a cross or an angel to represent death and that on it?
At the moment, the only furniture discussed would be the planters and maybe a bird table, water, yes, but nothing else at this time. As for furniture actually on the scattering area has been discussed. Do we need something? Or
Sitting on the wall to represent life after death.
could do our little angel, couldn't we? Could do.
And
Councillor
also,
Snellgrove.
there was 3 designs that were emailed around. So, are we going with this one? Or are we going
There was other ones. Let's have a look.
No, it wasn't that
No.
one.
Well,
No, not that one.
no.
That's,
I mean, that was one of the options, but I thought the continuous wall,
Yeah,
it wouldn't let enough
it's
light
more
through
cost.
and it will get a bit
Yeah, it's more
damp
cost.
and
It's resource. It's time. It takes away some of the area. Yeah.
But
But the bird table's nice.
But there's more plaque.
Yes, there is.
Chair, we also discussed, didn't we, that if we have a wall like that, it could shield the sexton's hut if we're not able
Yes.
to take those plaques off.
I mean, there's another design. But this is just an idea for council. Is this the route council want to go down? Is really what we're asking. If so, we can put it out, get some quotations. We don't have to accept the quotations, but once we've got some quotations back, that gives us an idea of what we're looking at. Unless council think, perhaps not.
Yeah, I put
Councillor
down
Betts?
the article is continuing investigating, so we're going to commit into a design. And I thought as well, within the scattering bit, up at the oaks, you can buy, in Rochdale, you can buy the little spikes that go in the ground, and you have them engraved for people. I don't know if that would be an option. It's like butterflies and stuff. It's quite nice.
Yeah, that will come under furniture, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
As what we can do or we can't do in terms of where they.
I thought I'd say
Yeah.
it while it was in my head.
Because we did look at, me and Liz, we talked about perhaps putting the little pots where you put the flowers in, but then there has to be, there's an upkeep to that, and how much, people are going to be scattering ashes, etc. It
We
just
have
didn't
to pay
fit.
rent on the oaks.
So this was the easiest, cheapest solution, I suppose, and more feasible for council at this stage before we go any further. So, Councillor Vickers.
Can I just
And then
ask,
we-
as we're talking about this in general, is there any way that we can zhuzh up the Sexton Hut?
What?
Because that is absolutely, I walked through it the other day, actually walking a dog that I don't know, and I just was really appalled by, it just needs a lick of paint on the doors, and the moss needs to come off the roof. It is really quite bad, and I just wonder if that's something that we can ask our grounds team to do. And then a jet, I know you probably can't power, can jet wash, is that a bit inappropriate?
Well,
to jet
perhaps
wash
we can
those
bring that
bags?
back. We can bring that back, or that could form part of the memorial
Because it does
renovation.
need a proper cleaner. It's not very nice.
So we could bring that to a future agenda, perhaps, and discuss that separately, or it can form part of the.
Well, I was just wondering, as it's the whole area, that's something that we could do, and it would be really nice to have, so those people that have put those plaques up, they're not thinking that we've neglected the area that their loved ones have remembered.
Sure. Right. Proposal. Yes. I'm happy to make a proposal.
It's quite a long time, isn't it?
I'm happy to go ahead with a design similar to this, and that perhaps myself, Liz and Sam go up and take some measurements based on an impression up on the screen, and we put this out to tender to several merchandise suppliers.
Reputable.
and see what they come back with in terms of quotes for us to go ahead, and we bring them back to the next meeting. The council's happy with a design with 2 walls and flowers and a border, and that's all works, so that they would do the whole renovation rather than half Sam and his team and half someone else. So that would be my proposal, is that we go out to tender a design similar to this for 2 walls, and we get them to do the whole renovation. Councillor Ranger?
Happy to second that.
Yep, so we have a seconder. So can I have a show of hands all in favour? Brilliant, thank you. Okay, right. Yeah. Councillor, item 17.4 is the additional cremation plots at the burial ground. 2 quotes have been received for the 22 new cremation plots in Northfield at the burial ground to discuss and determine action. Has everyone had a chance to see the 2 quotes, and how do councillors feel?
Yeah, I thought it was a good quote.
2 quotes, council. Yeah. There is a price difference.
Yeah.
Quality of work be the same. Councillor Betts?
Yeah, I looked through them, and although I'm not a builder, I couldn't pull them apart in terms of what they're delivering. The BJG one looked lower cost, slightly more professional. And
This stuff, maybe.
yeah, assuming they're comparable, I'd suggest we go with
It's very different, isn't it?
There's quite a difference, yeah.
Any further input?
Yeah, is
anyone
anybody
else?
told what they're missing? Or?
No? There is a big price difference, and I'm of the same opinion as Councillor Betts, that BJG is my most favourable one to move forward with. Any additional information, Clark?
Chair, I could just mention that BJG were recommended by Currans, who are our gravediggers.
Okay. Oh, good.
Propose we go with those then.
There needs to be a proposal, sorry?
Proposal to go with the BJG.
Okay, Councillor Ranger proposes that BJG, seconded by Councillor Betts. May I have a show of hands, all in favour of the quotation for BJG? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Good. Item 17.5 is the Welter Plots. Committee Clerk and the Heads Groundman met with Tim Rogers and Chris and Pat Curran at the burial ground to discuss the possible solution for the problem of the Welter Plots, to discuss and determine action. Let's bring the Welter Plots up. So the Welter Plots, as you all know, are filling up with water, and they're currently, we have 8, is it unused, Liz? 8. So they are just sitting there. Oh, it's gone now, isn't it? There we go. So a solution for this would be to remove the stone, drain, and put them back and reseal with a type of silicone, and leave it for a period of time to see whether or not that method remedies the welters filling up with water. Liz?
Jack, maybe I can give a little bit of background. So we went up last week, and we opened one of the plots that hasn't been used, and it was about this deep in water, and it has been an ongoing thing. Every time we have an interment, well, now at the moment we only do additional interments. Sam and I have to go out and up and drain it out. So Tim Rogers was at the site because he was doing the burial ground footpath, and Chris and Pat were digging a grave, and they both came over and had a look. On the other photograph, it shows a bit clearer. So that, you see there's the plinth, if you like, sort of thing. The bit above it totally lifts off on each of the plots. And both Chris Curran and Tim Rogers feel that the water is getting in down the sides and along there. So I think it was Tim Rogers who suggested that we had some sort of expanding foam put round them, and then on top where the actual plaque goes, to use thicker seals So what we've discussed, you notice that the guy from BJG has done a quote, and he's saying that £40 per plot, minimum 5. So we wondered if maybe out of the ones that aren't being used, we could drain 5 of them, ask Ben to do this work on them, and then maybe leave them for a while to see whether it does in fact work. And then if it does at that stage, then we would need to contact the relatives and explain to them what we're going to do. We wouldn't be removing any caskets. We would just simply be, if it works, the ones that are already being used, we'd simply pump them out and then do the work on the top of the plot. That would be the plan.
That practically is our only real option. They've been filled up with water for a very long time. We thought about putting holes in the bottom, didn't we? And nothing really came in.
I think it's 6 years since we haven't used them, looking at records today.
So that at the moment stands as our only real option moving forward. Councillor Berry, then Councillor Betts.
If you disturb the ones that are in use, you're going to have to notify the diocese.
We're not going to disturb anything. We're just going to do what we do.
The matter still have to notify them.
What if we take the top off?
Yeah, because of the earning side.
We can cross that bridge if this solution works. If this solution doesn't work, then, so if the solution, the recommendation works, and that we go ahead doing them all, at that point we would then contact.
Okay, I was under the impression that that because we weren't moving the caskets, that we were okay to do it. But anyway, we'll check.
We can check on that. So this is the option available. Sorry, Councillor Betts, you did have your hand up, sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate the thought and the planning put in to test it with the minimum amount, and I think this is a sensible strategy and I hope it works. So, yes, from my understanding, your suggestion is to try it on empty ones. So
yes, there's 8 current empty ones, so maybe 5? Was it 5, Liz? I think you said? 5, yeah. So the 5 empty ones, we'd take the lid off, drain it, put the lid back, seal, and then we come back in a period of time. And if it's worked, then that would be a solution, the only solution, I should believe. So it's council the mindset to go with this option. So we'd need a proposal.
I propose we go ahead with all the 5.
Okay, and that's with BJG again. Okay, so we have a proposal by Councillor Berry, Councillor Betts second. So can I have a show of hands, all in favour to go for that option? And that is unanimous. Thank you. And item 18 is social media, to discuss and determine action on what content could be added to the parish council social media. Any thoughts?
Should we do something update about the road? Is there anything that we can share? Because I think so Councillor Vickers' point is definitely a point of contention, and I want the village to believe and trust the parish councillors doing something trying to with the limited power we have. So
I think it did, yeah. We can give an update. We started a few weeks ago. I think I put myself up there, so we can follow on from that chain. It's also going in the Denmead scene, but Hamilton Road repairs. So yeah, we can have it. At this time, you can do. We can. That it's been raised. That we can put that forward.
I thought we said that we hadn't. That would have to go to another meeting.
It would, yeah. So I would just do Hamilton Road at the moment, and then once we've added that, we can come back and
But also further into our district councillors and county councillors. I think has that got to go to full council then?
No.
Because I think
as courtesy, we can put them in. We don't have to publicise that. We can just say that ongoing, we are still.
Well, I think we should.
If you wish to.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think there is this general position that we're happy with the state of the roads, and the parish council think it's okay. So I think we need to say we are expediting it, and as Councillor Barry said, that we're going to contact Suella Braverman as well. I think we have to throw everything at it to try and get Hampshire to do something that they are responsible for.
Yeah.
Good. Councillor Berry.
Don't need to be weak in this.
Say something about the memorial garden in there as well.
Yes, we can say that council is looking to renovate the memorial garden. Yeah.
Yeah, would there be a
It's a
public
bet.
consultation on that at some point?
No, because it's already out. It's already out. Yeah, it's just a case of reading now. There's no addition really. We're just tidying out what's already there. Yeah, it's nothing new. Any other items for social media? Planters. What have I written planters down?
Speed watch.
I have put planters down. So should we do planters once more? I think we should.
I
think
think
we
it-
should.
Sponsorship for planters, you mean?
No,
The working party.
the working party, because we're still low on numbers. So
I think I've got somebody else who might be interested.
brilliant. But let's keep advertising for support for the planters around the village.
That speed watch. That
Yes.
we, as a council, we decided not
Yes.
to go.
And the reason why,
And
I
the
think,
reason why-
yeah, and the reason why, Liz?
Well, that will be in the minutes.
I think it
Okay.
should go on social media as well, Liz.
Yeah,
I think
we tried and we did put it out to the community. Unfortunately, no one came forward, so at this time.
Oh, hold on, then, councillor.
I'd leave it on social media because of all the comments. You know what people's like.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's leave it in the minutes.
Let's
So,
leave it on.
does
Yeah,
Councillor
yeah,
Vickers want to
I
withdraw
agree.
that?
Yeah, I'll
Fine.
withdraw
Okay,
that.
so we take
yeah.
that off. Nothing else for social media? Just Liz?
That is to have in post box because the plaque will be done by the...
Of course, it'll be there next week.
Yeah.
And then we can
Yeah.
take
Will
photos.
it-
That's
will
part of the resolution anyway. I
Will
think.
it go in the
forwards to-
newsletter? Is it
Should
time
we-
to, will it miss the newsletter?
It will miss next, yeah.
Should we write something for Liz?
That's part of our resolution. If you remember that when it does arrive, that
Oh,
we
you
will go
will
out
write
there and
something
take
and
any
get
photos.
photos,
That
yeah.
stands.
I did write something and email it out to you.
Thank you.
And I
We
would like,
can use that.
I would like,
I'll try and find that.
I would like to
And
ask
use it in
that,
there.
I'd like to ask that councillor Stannard is part of that photograph because it was his, you know, his good idea. So.
Okay. Item 19 is matters for the next agenda. Shall we put the burial policy on? Do you want to put that on, Councillor
Yes,
Betts?
let's do that.
To about plaques and non-residents
So we're
and
thinking about what constitutes a meaningful connection. I can't remember the language was.
yes, yeah. What?
Well, I probably will need another volunteer because I've
Yeah.
got a very soft heart.
Okay.
He goes through the village ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you determine as a strong connection to the village? Going to church, which most people do on a Sunday. Stop off at the co-op, which I think a lot of people do. So been to Cassia for something to eat.
It'd be really populated.
Not being horrible, but I think we need to find something a little bit more serious.
I agree. I think we should
Okay.
find a compromise.
Fine. Councillor Ranger.
Next agenda, I don't know whether it's been discussed at other meetings, forgive me if I've missed it, but there was an email discussion about a memorial bench or tree for the ex-chair of Denley Parish.
Councillor Reid.
Councillor
Yes.
Reid. And I think that we should give that some consideration as to what we should
We have an
do,
update
if
for
we
that,
should do
Liz.
anything, when we should do it.
Chair, I believe that somebody has already asked about that and it's going forward. It has been discussed in the office.
Okay. Francis, I think, spoke to me about it.
Can we just check then?
Yeah, it's fine. If necessary, we can bring it back to the
Yeah.
next agenda.
Thanks.
Okay, there's an update, even so.
Yeah, because I put it on the parish under my name to Chris about it. So
Okay.
that could be it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's item 19. Oh yes, we will add on the Hambledon repairs as well.
Well, that it was put that
Yeah.
we should put it on the next agenda while we were discussing it.
Fine.
Should be on there every time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it should be a standing agenda item
Yeah.
actually.
Right, that's
So it gets
item
done.
19. So before I close the meeting, I'd like to say thank you very much to all of council for the last municipal year. You've been very supportive to me. It's my first chairman role, so thank you very much. Also like to say thank you to Liz, our clerk, who works effortlessly behind the scenes for us, constantly badgering me for
Yeah,
emails that I don't respond to, but thank you very much.
I would like to
So-
second that. I think Liz does
Yeah.
she quietly beavers away and gets
Absolutely.
things done. And I think you can see from the report that we are getting through those things that have been left for a long time. So seriously, Liz, I think
Yeah.
you have done an outstanding job this year. I'd like
And you
to
have your
thank
own
you.
areas of care, don't you? You're very fond of the burial grounds,
Yeah.
for example. So,
I think you are the
Thank
good
you.
face of the burial grounds. When people are coming in such a heightened state, I think you are the perfect person for that role. So
Thank you,
I'd like
Councillor
to thank
Vickers. I
you.
appreciate
Okay.
that. Thank you.
brilliant. So thank you, Council. Thank you,
Well done.
Liz. Yes, we have a look.